Hello, everyone. How's everybody doing today? We're going to get started in just a second. It looks like we still have people logging in. I know we normally start right on time, so give me just a minute, and then we need Jim to log in, who's our co-presenter, and then we'll get going. Jim, are you there? I got my screen open. There he is.
Yes, sir. How you doing, John?
Excellent. All righty. Well, I want to thank everybody for joining us today. We are so excited that you were able to join us as we take a detailed look at our 2023 signature group tour of Iceland. Like we do for those of you who've been on a webinar before, we will send everyone a copy of this presentation tonight. After we get it uploaded. So if you see or hear anything as Jim and I go through this today, just make a note of the time when you see or hear that. And then when you get the video, you can just fast forward to that part of the presentation, or you may just want to rewatch the whole thing. So that will be coming to everyone. Before we get started, I wanted to take just a second to explain the booking procedure. If you want to join us on this amazing tour of Iceland. This is a screenshot of our online booking form. Everyone should have received an email that we sent out earlier today, which included this link. I can also drop this link in the chat. I was actually going to do that before we got started, but I noticed one of our past passengers asked it a couple of questions, so I'll do it in just a second. But what we're doing is we had over 400 people, 430, I think, plus the last count we had sign up for this webinar today, and we only have, we actually this morning only had 40 rooms available. I know it's less than that now. So the concern is we're going to have a much higher demand than the space that we do have available. Jim and I talked this morning. We are trying to get a third bus. The third bus would give us 40 people on the bus, so another 20 rooms. Although even if we get that, that still only puts us at 60 rooms. And I think we're expecting like 150 people to be on the webinar. Typically about 40% of the people that sign up for a webinar actually attend it. As all of you know, we do send out the webinar afterwards, so we do have a lot of people who just sign up and watch it later on. So what we need you to do, or what we're asking everybody to do, is we're asking them to fill out that booking form. And what that does is when we receive that form back, it timestamps it. And then our consultants actually call people back in the order we receive those. So it kind of sets up a schedule. And so as soon as you decide that you want to go, we request that you fill out that booking form. We'll get it, and then the agents will start calling people back in order. With as many people as we have, we will send you an email confirmation that we've received your booking form because it's difficult to say how long it will take to get back to everybody. We will get back to everybody this evening. You'll get a call from an agent, and they can take your credit card information so that we can reserve your spot. You probably can't see it on the booking form. It looks really small. Nothing daunting about it. It's just legal names and date of birth for whoever going to be attending, then your address, your email address, and your phone number. And as I said, we'll get that form. We'll give you a call back. We'll get your credit card information from you, and then we'll get your space reserved. Hopefully Jim can come through with another 20 rooms, and then we'll have space for 60 of you. But some of the villages that we're going to be staying in are relatively small, and that's really where the difficulty is. It's not like we're going to a major city like Paris, and you can just go to a hotel and you can book 200 rooms at a hotel, and you have 50 different hotels you can book that at. So that is one of the hardships we have with Iceland. I can tell you that Jim and I spent 6 months, and maybe even a little longer than that, just putting this group together, trying to make sure that we had room at all of the sites and all of the things that Jim's going to talk about that we're going to go to. So there's a lot of moving parts with this when you're going, to sites as small as these. Before I turn it over to Jim, who's actually going to talk about Iceland and take us through a day-to-day kind of preview of what this tour is going to be, I just wanted to talk a minute about signature groups and what makes our signature groups so special. I know a lot of you have been on these before or have heard this before, and I'm not sure people are going to be able to read any of these slides. If you can't read the slides, and I know a bit later on we're going to have some videos, as I said, we will send you a copy of this presentation, so hopefully you can see it then. But anyway, as many of you heard when we talk about our signature groups, Jim, do you think you could make this full screen so they could possibly read this? Not a big deal if not. I'm going to talk most about what's on there anyway. But anyway, as many of you probably heard me say before, the best way I have to describe signature groups is I say they're normal groups that are on steroids. As MOAA's official travel agency, we are here to book all of your vacation travel, cruises, tours, river cruises, hotels, airfare, basically assist with anything that you might need. And when we receive calls from you and other members, over half the people that call us actually specifically request the ability to travel with other MOAA members, what we would consider a guest. So they will call up, for example, and they might say, we're interested in going to Portugal this coming summer. Do you have any groups that are going to Portugal? So groups are extremely popular for MOAA members. And with these groups, you can bring guests with you. You can bring friends and family. In fact, anything that you book through us, you're invited to bring friends and family along. So whether you're just going, if just you and friends on your own trip or whatever it is, or you're going one of our groups and signature groups as well, you're invited to bring friends and family along. And when you bring your friends and family along, they receive all of the MOAA amenities or the MOAA benefits that we offer when people contact us to book a trip. We have a satisfaction guarantee. We are, in fact, the only travel agency in the country that offers a satisfaction guarantee when you book travel through us. Part of that satisfaction guarantee is the best price guarantee. I always like to say, and I'm sure a lot of you heard me say this before, if you pay too much for your trip, would you be satisfied? And of course, no one would. We do have a amenity program. Collette is one of our great partners, and they participate in this. If you book any Collette cruise or river cruise or tour, MOAA members receive an additional $50 or $100 off per person. Any cruise, any date, this year, next year, it's been going on for years. And we have this with other vendors as well. So not only do you receive that, if you bring friends and family with us, they get our same level of service, they get our amenity programs, they get the lowest price, and the ability to join us on these group departures. With our signature groups, the rates that we offer it's not only the rates that we offer are exclusive, it's the entire trip. So when we're talking about the Iceland trip in just a second, when we kind of go through this, the only people who can join it are MOAA members and MOAA guests. So if somebody from the general public called and saw this online and said they wanted to book, they wouldn't be allowed to. So these are exclusive trips in addition to anything else. And if you're hesitant to bring friends and family along, let me assure you that every signature group we have done, members have brought along friends and family. It is the rule, not the exception, to twist that thing around. So worry-free vacation. I don't know if you can read that, but that's the title of this second bullet point. And those are three words that are meant to go together. Worry-free vacation. What better way to travel than when someone else is there to handle all the details so you can just relax and have fun? So in addition to the Collette escorts that will be with us every day, MOAA leadership is also there to ensure that everyone has a stress-free vacation. And MOAA vacations will be there as well. Hopefully no one will need our assistance, but think of the added peace of mind knowing we are there to assist if something arises. On our last signature group, which was July of last year, which is Mississippi River Cruise, unfortunately, one of our guests had an emergency while we were sailing and had to return home immediately. Steve Matthews, one of our top agents that some of you may have worked with before, and I were actually on that cruise, and we were able to sit down face to face with the guests and not only arranged their flights home, and it was two sisters, so one was going to Iowa and one was going to Arizona. We also arranged their transportation from the ship to the airport. I think it was in Jackson, Mississippi. So it wasn't a major airport. So there was some stuff in red, but I can tell you that how much peace of mind it added to those ladies as they were going through that stressful time to actually sit down at a table and have us take care of everything for us. So should you have any flight delays, lost luggage, or anything like that, we have boots on the ground to make sure both your bags and you enjoy this trip without having to worry about any of these details. And finally, we are there to increase the fun factor. Without a doubt, the highest rated trips we do every year are our signature groups. At the welcome reception on the Mississippi River Cruise, I just talked about, I recall addressing the crowd at the welcome reception, and I told everyone, if you have any problem or need any help at any time during this cruise, contact Steve or I and we'll fix it for you. And all I ask in return is that everyone agrees to have fun. And I can tell you, everyone complied. It was in the middle of a pandemic. You would not believe how much fun that group had. And in Iceland, my team and I will be there as well to handle any problems. And once again, all we ask is that you guys to have fun. But of course, our attendance is just a small piece of what makes these so much fun. A much greater impact is you will be surrounded by like-minded members with a shared background. Everyone on the tour is a friend, some you know and some you just haven't met yet. In fact, we have countless examples of people who met on a signature group and now travel together on an ongoing basis year after year. It is an opportunity to meet new lifelong friends. I've said it before, I can't say it often enough, is they are easily the most popular trips we do every year. And one final aspect of them is that they are rare. We only do 2 a year. We typically do one cruise and one land tour. So here's a quick look at 2022. The first one we have is Douro River, and you guys can't read that, but it's a Douro River cruise in Portugal, and we have just a few rooms left. So if you don't have a trip booked yet for this year, this is definitely something you should consider. We have $300 off per person, $150 onboard credit. We have blocked the entire ship, so everyone on the ship will be a MOAA member or a guest. And it's a great opportunity to meet people that you're going to see on Iceland, because a lot of people that go on the signature trips go on every signature trip or go on at least one a year. The second one listed there is a tour of Germany. It does include the Passion Play in Oberammergau, and we are in Munich for the start of Oktoberfest. That one's going to be a lot of fun. That one's actually sold out. If you're interested, give us a call. We do have a wait list. Final payment is due next month. So if we were to have some space open up, we'd know relatively quickly. 2023, we have 2 great opportunities. I know I mentioned a couple of times the Mississippi River. We are doing another U.S. river cruise in 2023. This is on the Columbia River. It's a great opportunity. And as I said, there's nothing that says you can only go on one signature group a year. So please consider joining us for Columbia River before Iceland. In Iceland, of course, is why we're all here today. And so I'm going to turn it over to my good friend, Jim Edwards, Vice President at Collette Vacations. I talked before about the amenity program that we have and how Collette participates in that. Collette is actually the #1 tour company that MOAA members book through us. And so they are most popular. I know there's so many companies out there and not all of you would have heard of them, but I can tell you there's a great reason that it is the choice of tours for MOAA members. And so Jim, after that brief introduction, why don't you tell us what makes Collette so special and then tell us more about the Iceland tour.
Absolutely, John. Thank you very much. Well, I think John and I have known each other and worked with each other for 20 years, and it's been.
Are we that old?
We are.
You know what? I think we started talking in 1998 when we started the whole MOAA vacations travel program. So yeah, it has been a long.
Right. Yeah.
Great partnership, though.
Absolutely. It's been wonderful. And just want to say thank you to all the MOAA members for joining us today. We have folks joining from all across the country, and certainly a big crowd interested in Iceland. And that's really what we've been seeing for the last 5 years. A lot of demand for folks who want to go see this other part of the world. My name again is Jim Edwards, been proudly serving Collette for 25 years. And that statement that you see there, you know, over the last 2 years, if you haven't traveled, you probably really feel that. You don't travel to escape life, but so life doesn't escape you. And certainly that is so true. Again, we have over 400 people that registered for the information. So we certainly think that if you're interested in going to Iceland, you should get a hold of John and his team as soon as you can, at least over the next 24 to 48 hours, because the first 2 buses will probably be sold out. We're going to talk a little bit today about the state of travel, a little bit about what Collette stands for, our differentiators. But geez, this is a great photo. It kind of says it all. Seljalandsfoss waterfall. This is one of the great waterfalls that you're going to see during your time in Iceland with us. Again, by the way, we're leaving September 13th to the 22nd, 2023. It is a bucket list for many people. Just to give you a little bit of more background about Collette, as John mentioned, we're the partner of choice for MOAA members, but we also have a pretty compelling story. We're an American-owned, family-operated company that's been around for 104 years in business, so we have a lot of experience. You might have seen us somewhere or another. We offer travel on all 7 continents, 170 different itineraries. So that collage that you saw there said it all. But you might have seen us on Wheel of Fortune. We've been a proud advertiser, and they're great partners also. We have Pat and Vanna on location with us every year. We film the segments, and then we start running the commercials in January. And if you tuned in this last month, you saw us. We were giving away a couple trips, couple winners, and we'll be on again in March. So if you haven't seen us on Wheel of Fortune, stay tuned, you will. If you've never perhaps taken a guided tour before, just to give you a little bit of expectations with Collette, we want you to be able to make best use of your free time. And the way that we do that is we choose the hotels for the location and the ambiance. So if you're city center, you can walk out the door, find a pub, see all the sights. One thing you don't have and you can't make more of is time. So we want to make sure that you have the best of everything. We handle all your bags, all your must-see inclusions are included, entrance fees. On tour, we have the best transportation. Our motor coaches cannot be more than 5 years old, restroom facility right on board, air conditioned, and most of the time, even Wi-Fi, believe it or not, right on board the motor coaches. And probably the best feature of all is when we say guided, we mean that there's an expert with you every step of the way, almost like a personal concierge that's going to meet you from the time you clear customs, and they'll be with you every step of the way, helping you out alongside of John and his team. And to give you a little bit more perspective, I've got a quick video.
We can't hear it.
No sound. Shoot. Okay. Give me just a second, folks. Let me restart this. Not sure why we didn't have sound there. Give me just a second.
Till you've seen for yourself every mystery.
Their tour managers are excellent. Their programs are excellent.
What we liked was having a guide that really knew the country.
Because of the tour manager, the trip was much better than it would have been on my own. He brought a lot of detail and history and information.
It has definitely been a trip of a lifetime.
Far more than we expected.
We've been to that we can call home. Let me show you the world. Come away with me.
Excellent. Sorry for the audio mishap there. You should have heard the tail end there and saw some great footage all across the world. You saw a little bit of Iceland as well. Some of the things that set us apart we've talked about, but again, the experience goes a long way, more than a century in business. Again, we want you to have those inclusions on tour, but also have some choices. Spend less time traveling between destinations and more time in them is a perfect way to see these world-renowned destinations and great pace. Just a few words on the state of travel. You might have noticed a few headlines over the past few weeks. The WHO actually made mention a few weeks back that, boy, if there's travel restrictions, the only thing they really did was hurt the economy. So they recommended most countries reduce or eliminate their restrictions. And you saw the UK and Ireland be one of the first few that did so with no more testing. Matter of fact, there's no more mask mandates even in the UK. So the world's getting back to normal, and thank goodness. We think there'll be more changes coming this year, and that's wonderful. When we leave in 2023, certainly we set out on a journey full of dramatic contrasts in Iceland. It's almost looks like another world, just incredible landscape. It's really the land of fire and ice. Steaming lava fields reflect volcanic nature of Iceland. Massive glaciers that sculpt the mountains and valleys. Thundering waterfalls plunging into fjords. Some of the areas are very remote, as John mentioned. When we go up to the little fishing community of Stykkishólmur, it's a small community, and we're up there on a beautiful peninsula. We're also going to be in Vik, one of the most southern parts of the island. By the way, Iceland is on the same latitude as roughly Fairbanks, Alaska. It's a 10-day itinerary, again, September 13th through the 22nd. Just a little bit of a somewhat of a know before you go. Routing of the itinerary. Hotels are listed, and you'll see that on the website, the MOAA Vacations website also. So if you want to kind of search and look to see where you're staying, no worries. We'll spend the first 2 nights in Reykjavik. It's about the size of Topeka, Kansas, to put it in perspective. We're going to travel the Golden Circle, visiting iconic Thingvellir National Park and Gullfoss waterfall. It's just breathtaking. We'll head north to Snæfellsnes Peninsula. It's unbelievable. 100 miles roughly north. We'll stay 2 nights in this small fishing and farming community. Stykkishólmur. Here we're going to visit family-owned farms, learn about the fishing industry. We'll make our way, and you'll see there on the map it says 1 night in Stykkishólmur. It's actually 2. We've changed the itinerary a little bit for MOAA Vacations. We have a couple things that we've added as well we'll talk about here in a minute. We'll make our way from Stykkishólmur down to Vik, taking in a geothermal energy plant. On our way, we'll also visit the lava show, not the lava exhibition, but the lava show. They're very, very different. It's the only lava show in the world. We'll take day trips out to see the wonderful national parks also. More great waterfalls, museums. We'll travel on the glacier and take a beautiful cruise on Jökulsárlón Glacier, it's unbelievable. Skatafells National Park, amazing. 10 days, taking in all that the island has. A little bit of a look of the hotels. Up on the top left is our hotel in Reykjavik. Then you've got the Foss Hotel in Stikisholmer. Down in Vik, we've got 2 different hotels. So one on the right and left there, the bottom of the screen. And again, just wonderful highlights, cruising on the ice-strewn Jökulsárlón Glacier, gliding past icebergs, standing all of the Gullfoss waterfall. Water drops 100 feet before thundering into the earth. Just spectacular. And of course, we're going to visit a family-owned dairy farm as well. Again, a quick video. This is Luciana, one of our great guides who just loves Iceland. What I want you to notice in the video is the what people are wearing. Make sure that you dress for success, not to impress, but dress for the weather.
There are things you can learn by traveling that you will never be able to learn from a book, and it just makes the world smaller. Hi, I'm Luciana Lyons. I am from Naples, Italy, and I have been a tour manager for Collette for the past 5 years. If I had the opportunity to invite our guests to one destination, it would have to be my favorite, which is Iceland. The thing about Iceland is that it's pure, it's wild, and it's dramatic. One of my favorite places to go to in Iceland to bring my guests is Jökulsárlón. It's this beautiful glacier lagoon. My eyes just sparkle every time I see it. My job is very unique. It brings me to some wonderful destinations. I get to meet some wonderful people, and I just feel like I'm very, very grateful.
Wonderful video footage. Again, you're going to see so much. It's just going to be amazing. We want you to meet the people, so that's why we visit the local farms, but really the food helps you to understand about the culture as well. So we're going to take one day where we're going to taste one of the delicacies, the Greenland shark, known as harkalt. Over 400 years, Icelanders have produced this specialty year-round, so we're going to try a little taste, but the seafood is amazing, fresh, local. You're going to see quite a bit of lamb as well. There's twice as many lamb as there are Icelanders in the country, by the way. So it's definitely a popular dish throughout the country. A little bit of everything. They make a wonderful yogurt-like as well. Some good ice cream too. But again, seafood along the coastline. It's going to be on every menu. 3 different types of salmon. So again, you won't go hungry. I promise you that. Some know before you goes, weather, be in the mid to upper 40s during the daytime, dip down a little cooler than that. September is really one of the top months for Iceland, and it's also the start of the Northern Lights season. So daylight hours is really important, 12 hours of daylight in September. Just some currency information, only 5 hours ahead of us in Eastern Standard Time. Passports are needed. We do use whisper headsets, so when we're taking the walking tours, we'll have headsets on so we won't have to be bunched up into the group and be able to hear the guide, no problem. Again, guides start to finish as well, every step of the way. I mentioned the clothing, dress for for the weather, for sure. Not necessarily to impress. So waterproof boots, really important. Don't bring umbrellas. Umbrellas go to Iceland to die. So you're not going to need an umbrella. It might be misty, but umbrellas will get blown away by the wind. So again, flights, we arrange flights for you. It's a quick overnight flight, so make sure that you let John and his team know where you're coming from, what gateway is closest for you. We've got many of those that we've already secured, so you'll see that on the website. We'll talk today about that. Once you land, you're going to go through customs. Once you clear customs, that's where you're going to meet our tour guides, and they'll be with you every step of the way. I want you to hear real quick from one of my friends, Greg Hall. wonderful guide, and he's going to tell you a little bit more about why he loves being a guide.
What makes me love my job and being a tour manager is the fact that I get to bridge cultures for people. I get to share places that I have discovered, or even places where I grew up, with people who may have never been there before, and opening them up to the beautiful diversity that this world has to offer. This job allows me to show people the differences in this world so that they can appreciate what they have back home and they can learn about what the rest of the world is doing. I think at the end of the day, that's my favorite part of it. It's really showing people that there's a big, beautiful world out there.
Let me show you the world. Come away with me.
I'm Greg Hall. I've been a tour manager with Collette for 13 years, and I'm in the Christmas market in Nuremberg on our Christmas on the Danube cruise. Come away with me.
Once again, the guide will be with you every step of the way, and we're going to hit the ground running. Once we gather our things, we'll head out and we'll start to see Reykjavik. Really full of cosmopolitan life, boasting a 2,000-year-old history, charming mix of modern and preserved culture, again, about the size of Topeka. So keep in mind that there's only about 300,000 people who live on the whole entire island. It's believed to be the location of one of the earliest permanent settlements of the Vikings. And you're going to see a lot of the Viking ancestral culture and roots throughout the city, and museums and statues. This is going to be a quick introduction to Reykjavik. By the way, Reykjavik is home to about 2/3 of the population also. So again, it's kind of spread out across the island, but this is the biggest city. It's a big, small city. We'll enjoy a walking tour of Reykjavik, the beautiful downtown and harbor front with a local guide. It's going to tell us about the area every step of the way. We'll pass by the Harpa Concert Hall. This is down near the harbor front. Mesmerizing glass facade that shimmers in the sunlight. Great museums throughout Reykjavik. There's also an area there where they discovered a Viking longhouse. All these things you can see. We'll view the iconic Sun Voyager sculpture, really designed to be a dreamboat that pays tribute or honor to the Vikings and the sun. So again, the Viking culture comes alive. We'll pass by the statue of Leif Erikson, right there in the front of this beautiful church called the Hotgrim Skritkirkja. Unbelievable architecture. It's the largest structure in Reykjavik. You can see it from everywhere. But Leif was born in Iceland, first son of Eric the Red. He set out from Greenland and landed in Newfoundland in about 1000 AD, they believe, about 500 years before Christopher Columbus, to put that in perspective. We're going to get to know the area. Again, we do that through the people and the food. No exception here. We have an Icelandic lunch at a popular local restaurant before checking into the hotel later that afternoon. Again, City Center Hotel. We'll take a day trip out from Reykjavik. It's just outside toward the east of Reykjavik. We travel the incredible Golden Circle. It's a route that encompasses many of Iceland's most renowned natural wonders. What you're seeing here is Thingvellir National Park. It's the nation's most historic area. It's a UNESCO World Heritage Site also. It's here where Icelanders gathered in about 900 to establish the world's first parliament. And the Golden Circle is about a 180-mile stretch of just breathtaking natural wonders. In the beautiful national park in Thingvellir, you're going to find that you could be standing upon the Earth's most geologically significant landscape. You can actually straddle 2 continents here at the same time, North America and Europe. You're right on the North American and Eurasian tectonic plates that are moving apart one another, right underneath the floor of the island and the sea. Again, just amazing. It's a UNESCO World Heritage Site. The Golden Circle also contains natural lakes, waterfalls, mesmerizing sights. Certainly not only Thingvellir National Park, but geothermal fields. It'll make you feel like you stepped over into Yellowstone National Park, and just spectacular waterfalls. Gullfoss waterfall is one of those. We're going to stand in awe at the beauty of Gullfoss waterfall. It's stunning 100-foot double cascade, and that's a beautiful shot there. It's called the Golden Falls since on a sunny day the water truly looks golden. We might get that in September for sure. Plunges down three-step staircase, if you will, tumbles down into these steps and the crevasse below. Again, just breathtaking sights that we're going to see every step of the way. We're going to stop in the thermal area, geyser to admire the hot spring stroker explosive vertical spout. This spout is going to spray and reach heights of anywhere from 90 to 150 feet. Somewhat like Old Faithful. It's going to erupt about every 5 to 10 minutes. So again, another amazing sight along the Golden Circle that we're going to see. We'll stop at a local owned farm. We'll get a glimpse of the country lifestyle. You'll have a chance to meet the owners, learn what life is like on a dairy farm. Of course, we'll share with you the day in the life and what it's like for them. You'll notice about the landscape, there's not a lot of trees. So it's, again, a very unique landscape throughout the whole entire island. We're also going to enjoy various cheeses that are made right here on the farm. We'll taste their famous ice cream as well, and yogurt. This is a day that we're also going to be visiting a stud farm and a greenhouse that virtually is a cultivation center to learn how the locals grow delicious pesticide-free tomatoes, a lot of different varieties of tomatoes that are grown here, and cucumbers as well, with the aid of the geothermal energy that is produced here in Iceland. As you can imagine, it's a very wild landscape that's here, and historically been a challenge due to the cold climate to have long growing seasons. So they've really had to figure out ways around that and solutions. And we're going to be learning all about those. We'll discover how this technology defies the natural challenges. And you'll see the geothermal greenhouses. Again, this is family run. So we'll have a chance to meet with the owners and learn about how they cultivate the geothermic waters and use it to create year-round Mediterranean climate here. We'll meet a horticultural expert. We'll also learn about the Icelandic horses here. Learn about the breeding of this the special horse. Again, just a wonderful, wonderful day of sightseeing. We'll learn about not only the geothermal technology here, but also it's very environmentally friendly technology that they use to grow these varieties of tomatoes. Certainly green energy, pure water, organic pest controls combined to produce really fresh and healthful tomatoes. And we'll have some samplings as well. On day 4, we're going to head north from Reykjavik. We're going to experience the otherworldliness of Snæfellsnes Peninsula. Little Iceland is what it's called because it really looks like Iceland in miniature. Glaciers, fjords, mountains and lava fields. Really dramatic landscape. Black and white sand beaches, stunning cliffs and mountain peaks. Volcanic craters, soaring waterfalls. It is just remarkable landscape, and this is where we're gonna stay 2 nights. On our way, we're going to embark on a true Icelandic cultural adventure as we spend time with, again, another family that's going to tell us about how they use a 400-year-old tradition of catching and preserving Greenland shark. And you'll see the fishing boats that they utilize, even dating back to their grandfather. And the tiny farmers church in this area too. We'll explore the museum that they have right here, learn more about the deep relationship and the fishing trade here. And we're going to taste some of this, this dried shark. I'll let you be the judge whether you like it or not. Again, we're going to stop for the next 2 nights. This is the adorable small fishing and farming community. It is called Stikisholmer. I tell you, some of the Icelandic words can be real tongue twisters, so you got to be careful about how you say them. And yes, puffins. Today we'll begin our day with a walk on one of the islands here in Stikisholmer. Search for marine birds, breathtaking views. We'll experience really countless birds such as the puffins and cormorants and white-tailed eagles soaring amongst the basalt rock columns. Again, just another wonderful day of sightseeing. I think you're going to feel like every day gets better than the one before, because we're going to embark on a nature cruise as well in this area. We'll be on the bay while cruising. We'll have delicious fresh scallops and sea urchins right here from the ocean. Can't get any fresher than that. So seafood certainly doesn't come any better. Wonderful experience. This is actually day 5 if you're following along on the itinerary. At the end of the day, we're going to give you a choice. Later that day, it's yours. Choice is yours. It's included, but you decide how you want to spend your time. You can either take a hike. It's about a 2-hour hike up to Mount Helgafell. It's a sacred hill, really in the eyes of many Icelanders, it's a sacred place. It's believed that if you hike to the top of the mountain without looking back or uttering a word, you'll get 3 wishes. And that is going to be led by a guide. So if you're up for the hike, you can join us there. The other option is to join us in one of the heated pools, the geothermal pools. Every little village in Iceland. If you want to take some time for some R&R, you can relax, enjoy the thermal heated spa and pools here. Wonderful. So again, this is included. It's your choice. Day 6, if you remember, this is the day that we leave the north and we head down to the southern part of the island, Vik. This is when we leave Stikisholmer. It's an amazing day. On the way, we're going to drive through spectacular landscape. This is southwest area. Hengel is an active volcano. There's not been an eruption here at this location for about 2,000 years. In spite of that, there's still lava close to the surface, and you can see some of the steam coming out of the ground as well, and fumer holes and many hot springs that dot across the landscape. But this is a wonderful day because we're going to be taking you to our first stop. Heltafjörður power station is the largest geothermal power station in Iceland. It's the 2nd largest in the world, and it's located right by the Hengel volcano in southwest Iceland. Renewable energy has provided almost 100% of the electric production here on the island. 73% of it coming from hydropower and 27% from geothermal. So we're going to have a tour of the power plant. There's a great exhibition here. It'll be guided by an expert to learn about the hundreds of years that they've been using and harnessing the geothermal energy. And then it's on to what might be the highlight for many people is the lava show. And this is as we make our way into Vik again, we're going to learn about the history surrounding Iceland's historic eruptions and get a glimpse into the science behind the volcanic landscape and some earthquakes. Just visually stunning. If you want to go online and look for the lava show information, you'll learn all about it. But it's the only place in the world where you can safely experience hot molten lava in close proximity. You're even going to feel the heat. So the reviews on the show are fantastic. This is a MOAA exclusive. We don't offer it any other groups. and you won't see it on our standard itinerary. So again, you'll definitely come away with a wonderful, wonderful day. Show recreates a volcanic eruption similar to that of the ones that have happened recently. And it's a showroom. It's a showroom where you can really see that red hot lava. This is Vik. This is again our home for the next 3 nights. It's the southernmost village on the island. This is getting us out away from the hustle and bustle of the big towns like the size of Topeka, but this gets us out into the rural part of Iceland. And there's reason for this. The national parks are wonderful here, but it also gives us an opportunity in these rural areas if we have a chance to search for the lights. Yeah, absolutely. I knew that the question would come up. The Aurora Borealis, really the season starts around September, about mid-September when we're there, and runs through about February. They're created by particles from the sun that are released in solar explosions. And when these particles interact with the atmosphere and the Earth's magnetic field, this energy is released, causing the skies to light up like another world, like maybe out of this world, like an alien. An array of colors, again, occurs. Really seasonality has a lot to do with it. When there's less cloud coverage, also when there's more darkness. There's no guarantee, but being outside of the popular areas, being in places like Stikkishólmur and Vik, definitely a great opportunity. Tougher to see with the naked eye, so definitely your cameras are going to capture shots that you're not going to see with the naked eye, so it's going to be amazing. There'll be times where our guide, based on the level of likeliness to see, it's called a KP level, the likeliness to see the lights, they'll let us know. And if the indicator or the scale is anywhere between 4 and 5, we have a good chance of seeing them. The scale, by the way, goes from 1 to 9. Our guide will let you know. Meet us at in the lobby at 10 o'clock. We'll walk around the hotel and gaze at the lights. So again, not a guarantee, but certainly hope that we can show you the lights. We'll also spend time with some day trips outside of Vik. Remarkable areas here. We're going to drive the South Shoreline and explore Skogir Museum. Outstanding collections covered in all aspects of Icelandic life, including domestic artifacts and turf-built houses. And then it's the natural wonders. Nearby is the impressive Skogafoss waterfall, one of the largest in Iceland, about 80 feet wide with a drop of 200 feet. Due to the amount of spray the waterfall consistently produces, a lot of times you'll see a rainbow on sunny days. And again, otherworldly types of landscape. This looks a little bit like Giant's Causeway in Northern Ireland, but this is Reynisfjalla Ara. This is a black volcanic sand beach scattered with caves and surrounded by basalt columns and cliffs. Mesmerizing. Also rich bird life in this area. So keep your eyes peeled for the seagulls and other bird life. Again, incredible landscape. This is Dyrhólaey. This is a natural rock formation that you're going to see in the area. Towering lava formation sticking out of the water, arched as if it were a passageway. This rises about 120 feet above the water. Shoots out from the peninsula here. So again, more incredible landscape. We'll have a full day trip from Vik over to Jökulsárlón and Vatnajökull National Park, and then back to Vik. The highlight of this day is certainly our cruise. We'll be cruising among the huge icebergs and picturesque scenery of Jökulsárlón Glacier Lagoon. Keep your eyes peeled for seal. Might even get a taste of 1,000-year-old ice that surrounds you. Again, one of the highlights of the day for sure. We'll later stop at Skaftafelt. This is a very rugged and wild terrain. It's a gateway to Vatnajökull National Park, the largest national park in Europe. You'll see the glaciers. Again, the landscape is just out of this world. We're going to marvel at the alpine environment of Iceland. The highest mountains are in this area also. And one of the most spectacular of the sites is going to be a full day trip as we make our way back to Reykjavik. We'll make a picture stop at Seljalandsfoss waterfall. It's one of the few waterfalls in the world that allows you a walkway or a path for views from inside the waterfall. So you can look out over the waterfall from behind. Certainly Iceland's natural beauty provides otherworldly and ethereal feel to it. Iconic waterfalls like this, pictures just don't even do it justice. It's unbelievable. That afternoon drive along the South Shore, making our way toward Reykjavik, we'll stop at Reykjanes Peninsula. And then again, more rugged landscape, lava fields, numerous hot springs. It's home to the Blue Lagoon, and certainly you can't go to Iceland without dipping into the pleasantly warm Blue Lagoon. It's 102 degrees, mineral-rich waters of geothermal pools. And we'll have our chance here. We're going to stop. Bring your bathing suit to Iceland. I know it sounds crazy. Bathing suit and sunglasses in Iceland are a necessity. Certainly for this day, have the bathing suit, relax in the warm, mineral-rich waters of the famous Blue Lagoon. We'll spend a couple hours here. There's a swim-up area. You can have a drink. There are white silica mud masks for your face. It's complimentary for all of our guests. Certainly, many believe that there's healing powers here, and you'll feel rejuvenated as you dip into the inviting waters. We provide changing rooms as well, lockers and showers for men and women. It'll be a wonderful experience. Again, this is as we make our way back toward the end of the trip to Reykjavik. And there's where we'll have our farewell dinner. Our last night, we'll gather with incredible memories and stories of our days in Iceland. And we'll enjoy a local restaurant with Icelandic traditions, maybe have some of the last remnants of the best seafood in the world. Again, many wonderful stories and memories of it's a signature trip to Iceland. Beautiful golden circle, all the landscape, the waterfalls that you're going to see. We certainly invite you to go to Iceland with us. Again, we've had so much response that I would really advise you to get in touch with John and his team right away. You don't want to miss out. Space is very limited. By the way, if you have traveled with Collette before, if you travel with us in 2022 and you go again in 23, it's $150 off. In addition to your member benefit. So you don't have to sign up for anything. We do that just automatically, so no worries. Once again, don't miss out. Space is super limited. 2 buses is what we have held right now. So that's only about 40 rooms. We're going to work on getting another one if we need to. So just wanted to go over real quick the price and how you can get signed up. It's only $1,000 deposit if you're signing up as a twin, or $1,500 if it's single. You can see the add-on for the single. You will see on the website that we list airfare and in certain gateways across the country. If you don't see your gateway there, no worries. Let John and his team know when you call in to make your reservation. We provide round-trip airfare as well. And by the way, leave the driving to us. One of the most stressful times of going on a trip is getting to the airport or getting home from the airport. So when you make your reservation with Collette and book our air, as long as you live within a 50-mile radius of one of more than 90 airport gateways across the country, we're going to pick you up at your home, right at your front door, and take you to and from the airport. So it's a service that we provide, somewhat white glove. And again, if you book your air with Collette, the full package, this is included. So leave the driving to us, take away the stress. So again, we don't want you to miss out. The way you can reserve your spot is get in touch with John and his team as soon as possible. $1,000 if it's per person for a twin, or $1,500 for a single. And I just wanted to make mention also that final payment is going to be not due until December 31st. So you've got all the way through the end of the year. All we need to hold your space is the deposit at this time. If you want more details, you can certainly go to the website. See it here on the screen. There is a book now button as well, but you'll see all the information, the day-by-day itinerary, and all the pricing, how to get signed up. But if you want to call John and his team, the number is 800-211-5107, where you can also email at mail@moavac.com. And John, I'm going to turn it back over to you. I do see we have a few questions here.
We do. Real quick, we certainly hope everybody can join us. These are actually pictures of the 2 hotels that we have reserved in Vik. Vik is a small village of about 750, 800 people. So this is one of the things we talk about when we talk about we're trying to get a third bus. Is actually in Vik, we actually have one bus, so one half of the group is going to stay at one of these hotels, the other half is going to stay at the other. And so when we look to add a third bus, we've got to find a third hotel that's got 20 available rooms. So we're certainly hopeful we can do that. We're not sure. Jim just mentioned the singles. I guess I should mention it. We do know that there is not only the surviving spouses subgroup of MOAA. There's a lot of single members there. We can accommodate up to 4 singles per bus. So total, we have room for 8 singles. So I guess that's even a kind of a tighter inventory than we have in the double rooms. That is, by the way, the only city where the group is not going to be together for both buses. There was a number of questions. I tried to answer some of them. We're basically at 3. We try to end on time. There's a couple of them I think that are kind of more general questions that I'll try to get to real quick. And then you can always call us and ask the other ones. Somebody asked about vaccination requirements. As I've said repeatedly, MOAA Vacations and MOAA have no say whatsoever in what a country like Iceland will require for people visiting their country. I do, Jim brought up some good news. I don't know if people saw it yesterday. Disney announced that they were no longer going to have a mask mandate at any of their parks. This morning, the CDC downgraded their warning level on cruise ships. Last week, we had NCL come out and change their protocol. So I think everything right now is moving towards things opening up. We would expect that to continue throughout the summer, and we are looking at a departure that is in September of 2023. And we will work with people like we did last year for the Columbia River cruise. If there is a mandate that's in place, or if they install a mandate that actually goes away, such as vaccinations or stuff like that, and that's the reason for cancellation, that would be an exemption to the refund policy in that regard. A couple of quick questions that I just wanted to touch. Somebody asked about the Northern Lights, and when are the Northern Lights viewable in September? I thought you kind of covered that, Jim, but do you want to just touch on that again, and how we're going to kind of try to see them while we're there on kind of an ad hoc basis?
Yeah, absolutely. So September basically starts the season for the Northern Lights, and there's no guarantee ever. We could be there in the height of the season and not be able to see it. So it really depends on the weather and the cloud coverage. We really increase our chances when we're in these small areas like Stikisholmer and Vik. And what we'll do is, depending on the weather, and everyone pays attention to the lights, including our guides, the local guides. So if the conditions are good, we're going to let everybody know. And usually after dinner, or it could be later on in the evening. If you want us to let you know when we're going to walk outside the hotel and look for the lights, you can come and walk with us. Short walks, you know, we're in open areas in Stikisholmer and Vik, so those are going to really increase our chances.
And we actually have the 2 Vik hotels up right now, so you can see you're basically in the country as soon as you walk out of your room. And so what it is it's the weather and cloud cover. So if we have an evening that it looks good, that evening at dinner or sometime during the day, that the guide will let you know. It's like, it looks like we can see them tonight. So we definitely will make every effort to see them, maybe even more than once. But it's sort of like with the Northern Lights, we can't say we're going to see them on day 5 because we have no idea if day 5's a possibility. So it's certainly something that we're going to try to add if we could. Somebody else asked, and I know this is on the website, if people haven't been there. And if you go to moavacations.com, right in the center of our homepage on moavacations.com is the signature group. So if you click on that, you'll go to a page that will list all of them, and you can click on Iceland. So if you haven't gotten that link, you can certainly get there. And I know it sounds like a lot of clicks, but once you get to the Iceland site, the book now forms there. We have information there on the activity level, but we did have a couple of questions along these lines. Somebody asked about how much walking there'll be specifically over uneven ground. And somebody else mentioned that one of the days seemed like a long day, and kind of what time do we start and what times we can finish. And I know those are somewhat specific, but can you talk just for a minute about the activity level on this group?
Yeah, John. So this is a trip that I would say you want to make sure you bring waterproof, comfortable shoes, really boots, almost like hiking boots, if you will. We're going to be on different terrain. So whether it's walking behind one of the waterfalls, you'll be on black sand beaches. You can choose to do as much walking as you want. You know, if you want to hike up the mountain the one day, you can do that. Or it's going to be a ton of panoramic sightseeing, so you can really walk as much as you'd like, but it will be uneven terrain and different terrain. So keep that in mind. The days, we're really going to see as much as possible. Again, we don't want to waste any of your time. So that we will have a couple days that'll probably be full days of sightseeing, where we're leaving the hotel at 8:30 and back at 6 o'clock. And have a chance to get ready for dinner. But it'll be full days, and you will definitely feel like it's well worth it when you're seeing these incredible sights in the national parks.
And Jim, correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't our tour a day longer than you normally do? So we did add a day to the itinerary. So cognizant, you know, of how much we're trying to see and everything. I mean, we did add some additional things, nothing really that adds a lot of time to the tour, but we added a day. So it has actually spaced out a little bit more. You know, as I think I mentioned before, I know somebody in there mentioned and asked the question of, well, how is this different than the standard Collette tour? It is one that we designed. It does have a lot of similarities, and a lot of that is you're not going to find, you know, many tours that go to Iceland that aren't going to the same places. But it's sort of like we're doing the actual lava show than the lava museum. We're going to try doing the Northern Lights, which the other tours don't. We added another day to it, so it has a better pacing to it. But you know, you're not going to find a tour of Iceland that doesn't, for example, go to the Blue Lagoon. So while the sites are the same, there's a lot that went into designing this to make it as enjoyable as possible, you know, so everybody can have fun. I mean, it's vacation. We want people to have as fun as possible. The puffin hats are not required, but they are for sale. I got that when I was in Iceland a couple of years ago. It is just a fantastic itinerary. I think that's most of the major questions. There were other questions like, you know, along the lines, do we offer stuff other than signature groups? I hope I made that clear enough at the beginning. In fact, one of the things that you might consider, I know I brought up Portugal as an option this year, but if you're looking at joining us for Iceland next year on Collette, Jim brought up the $150 discount for past passengers. We have some groups set up. We're in the process of setting up some more that have air promo specials. So definitely give us a call. And if you go, Jim, pick a destination. If we've got a Collette European Holiday Markets cruise in December of this year. If you go on that cruise, not only do you have a wonderful cruise for the European holiday markets, but you'll receive $150 off per person on Iceland next year. So we are MOAA's travel agency. We want to be your travel agency for all your vacation travel. So be it Iceland or, a 3-night cruise or whatever it may be, we are vacation travel experts and we're here to help you. So we've run a couple minutes long. I can see some more texts came in. I apologize that we're going to have to let everybody go, but we're going to go ahead and sign off now. Thanks everybody for coming. We will have your questions, so we will definitely try to answer those by email. And with that, thanks again everybody for coming. And Jim, I'll let you have the last word.
Yes, sir. Thank you, John. And again, I want to say thank you to all the folks who joined us from MOAA. We really appreciate your service to the country. Thank you very much. And John, thank you for your wonderful partnership and inviting me to talk about Iceland today. Thank you.
It was fun. I hope everybody had fun. So have a great day, everybody. We'll talk to you soon. And hopefully I see everybody in Reykjavik. Have a great day.
Have a great day. Bye-bye.